Okay, yes, Marina, please. What the question? What do you have? Which question do you have?
I have questions for segment 7 questions. We aren't really sure who are these questions for. Who asks them and who should answer them?
Yeah, so this is actually validation questions. These questions aimed to the personas of these segments. Okay, so actually if we'll go into customer segments and we see these 4 customer segments, and we can recognize the problems and needs actually which you specified for these for these segments. Okay, so actually we say, okay, customer segment, sustainable living enthusiasts. Okay, problems and needs, water conservation. So description, water scarcity is a concern in many urban areas. With the soil moisture monitoring system, urban residents can optimize their watering practices and conserve water resources by watering their plants only when necessary. Okay, this promotes sustainable water management and reduce water wastage. Okay, so this is a problem. Now we actually, the idea is here to write validation questions which we can ask the representatives of these customer segments. Okay, so if we'll say, okay, so our segment, it's urban gardeners and urban farmers. Okay, so the problem is plant health and growth, and actually we can ask the question about their problem to be sure that they have this problem, because if we're going to create directly our solution, and maybe the customers not really recognize this problem, or maybe we don't know exactly who will feel these problems and needs very strong. For us it will be very hard to to do all of these marketing activities to bring the solution to them. So the idea in this validation process is to find the representatives, like persona, from this specific segment and asking the question which will validate their problems and needs. Okay, so for example here, the plant health and growth. So they want that plant will be healthy and grows in very good well. So what kind of question we can ask the people from urban gardeners and urban farmers which related to the health and growth of the plants? What do you think? To validate if they have this, if they treat and they have this problem for the plant health and growth.
I'm not really sure, actually.
Can you just talk a little louder?
I say I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but actually we can go, for example, if we're going to the gardeners and farmers and saying, do they care about the plant health? Yeah, do they care about the good growth of the plants? Yes or no? If they don't care about the plant health, so maybe our solution, which will try to sell them, they will not need it. And the second one, for example, remote monitoring, do they want or do they need, do they feel that remote monitoring will help them, to monitor the water use for their, for their area where they grow the plants. Okay, so actually here we are going to our potential customers with the question about the problem, and not just, you know, trying to present directly the solution. So from the plant health and growth, you say, okay, the problem that these gardeners and farmers want to keep, you know, wants to take good care about the plant health and growth of the of their plants, of health and growth of their plants. So actually, to ask this question, we should understand who the persona, which will present the whole segment, is the first one. The second one, we'll need to start communicate with them, asking about the, you know, asking for advice, and then trying to understand if they have these problems, yes or no. And once we will get for them, you know, evidence, we will get for them some confirmation that they really have this problem, we will be able to go to the next step and promoting or asking them for advice for our vision for the solution. Okay. And for example, in Vinica, if we're going to take this segment, okay, urban gardeners or urban farmers, who are these guys? You know, where you can find them, how you can communicate with them. Marina.
Obviously in urban areas. Obviously in urban areas, they maybe have some little gardens on their balcony or something like that.
Okay, so this is a private guys which actually maybe grow their own plants on the balcony, on maybe near the house, or you know, in some backyard in their houses. So okay, and how you can get them, you know, how you can find, let's say, like 10 representatives or more of these, you know, of these people to go and ask advice, or, you know, asking for the question if it's very important for them plant health and growth condition. Where you can find them?
Maybe through social media.
Yeah, so I think the post in social media, like, is saying sometimes these people, you know, once you will be able to promote some kind, maybe story there, you will describe, for example, as example, that you have these, you know, plants in open balcony on backyard on your house, and maybe you will share some, you know, some story, and maybe you will share some problems which you faced, you know, for growing the plants, saying, okay, I had some problem with the understanding if it's enough water or not enough water. Maybe, you know, the health plan in the plant was health and growth will be okay, yes or no. And actually, sometimes when you specify this, you know, this unknown or feeling the problem, you can go and ask for advice from the people in social media. And if, you know, if somebody will answer you saying, yes, we also had this problem. So in this case, you can already create some reaction from the market. And maybe after that, once you will get this reaction from the market, you will be able to go further with them. And in this case, you already specified some, you know, some group of the people which potentially maybe they will want this kind of solution. But in the beginning, you're not just going directly trying to sell the solution which you already don't have yet. Okay, you actually want to create it. But before you're going for directly sales, you're trying to keep these early adopters and people which will help, you know, which will feel the same problems and needs which you are going, you know, to solve. Okay, so I think the social media will be great, and if it's B2C, because actually I think maybe they have some clubs, you know, when the people will just have a group of the people which try and, you know, maybe to help each other to take care of and share their knowledge about the process. Maybe this one, but I think the social media, it will be, you know, it will be a great solution. And here, for example, you know, as I said, it's good to start with some storytelling, maybe provide, you know, some pictures for the plants which, you know, they had some health problems, you know, some growth problem, to picture it and asking for advice, or actually saying, look, actually, who has the same problem? Because I lived, you know, my flat for, you know, several days, and looks what's actually happened. And maybe we'll need some good solution which will take, you know, the care of the health. And actually, by the way, you can ask for advice. Maybe already somebody use this kind of, you know, solution. So in this case, you can recognize the potential potential competitors, okay, because maybe people already use some solution and they can advise you. So in this case, you can start to do this pre-start marketing and business development activities before you actually, you know, start to develop something. Okay?
Okay.
Do you got it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, and plant enthusiasts, okay, plant lack of awareness, what to do, yeah, and time and effort savings, sustainable living enthusiast, okay, and educational institutes. So I think this is B2C, you know, 3 segments. It's mostly like, you know, it's mostly like same people, yeah. But one of them, it can be more, you know, more expertise in this area. Maybe some of them just, you know, starting. But because it's B2C, and this is like urban gardeners, plant enthusiasts, sustainable living enthusiasts. So all of them is like B2C segment, and I think it's quite similar. And the second one, B2B, like segment with the educational institutions. So they're a little different. And what do you think about educational institutes? What kind of problems and needs they can have, or maybe they will have, that your solution, which, you know, will be able to solve it? But what kind of problems and needs do you think about these educational institutes? What is it, educational institutions? It's like university or school. So what kind of institutions?
I think that educational institutions also have some number of plants, or maybe even whole gardens, but they don't have enough staff to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe our solutions could be maybe helpful for them.
Yeah, and maybe in this case they also have some, you know, maybe they have some topics or courses, or maybe it can be used as facultative, you know, for the students, which will take care about the plants inside the educational institutions, yes, and this kind of customers. But also they, you know, they will use it, and they will also you know, they will learn something in this sustainable living, and maybe you can, you know, not just to providing the solution I mean, not just providing the solution, technical solution, but maybe also to provide some kind of educational, you know, course or educational, you know, events or educational program, which can be used, you know, as additional value for this solution. Not just, you know, not just to keep care about the plans. What do you think?
Sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, but and here I think it's, you know, if you'll go for educational institutes and actually you will provide the list of these, you know, guys. So here you can ask two, you know, two types of question. Actually saying, okay, I wanted to know, for example, about, you know, the process of taking care, about, you know, the plants on your, in your building, okay, in your business. And the second one, this is also if it can be transformed or maybe transformed for some educational program. And maybe they say, yes, why not? We have, for example, you know, the course for botanics or something like this, and actually to providing this, you know, this solution, we'll be able to build some practical course. And it will be interesting because in this case, our students, you know, will be able to take care in the taking care about all plants and all the buildings. So maybe now it's, you know, it's done manually by some staff, which is just going to put the putting more water. But if you will be able to, you know, to propose more technical solution and with the possibility to bring this added value for providing educational program, maybe in this case it can be very interesting for them. By the way, maybe, you know, maybe one additional segment, this will be offices, you know, IT offices and, you know, other business offices where people, yes, they have the plans because it's part of, you know, of the working environment. Maybe in this case, your technical solution can be provided as something that will help them, you know, to take care of to retain the plans and actually will, you know, will be able to provide the solution which will be more technical, and maybe, you know, they will, and not just technical, you also will be able to provide better, you know, better plant care, because it's not only water. Maybe you can add some additional, you know, the elements to the plants which will help them to take care in better way. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So actually, you'll try to, you know, to write these questions, and of course, you're going to ask your local. So maybe the question you can put here in Ukrainian. You don't need to put this, you know, these questions in the English, because you're not going to ask people in the United States in the first stage. You're going to the Vinnytsia, so just ask. Write down this question in Ukrainian, and they will start, you know, to communicate with these personas, representatives of this segment. And I suggest that you will create some interesting posts in social media, just showing the problems. Okay, maybe from your side, or maybe, you know, for example, you can share you can share some experience from other people which struggled with the lack of this kind of solution. Okay, so they got something and now they'll need, to find the solution. So once you will be able to put this information online, and once you'll be able to get some feedback, from the people, so these people can be your potential customers, like representatives of the customer segment. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Somebody else with the project now here? Okay, so there are more guys. There are more projects which want to ask some questions about the progress. Okay, if you don't have more questions, we can go forward. But by the way, actually, what we discussed is with Marina now. It's this is example how you can treat with this topic when you when you want to create these questions for some personas, for some people from these customer segments. Okay, so it's trying to define the persona, trying to find the right way to ask for advice, not just from the beginning trying to bring the whole solution. Okay, trying to understand their needs, and it's the best way to validate it by providing some kind of marketing entrance to this segment, just showing some kind of problems or needs to share this information with them. And once you share it with them, it's much more easier to get the reaction from them, because you share some information or some problems and needs. And once you share it with them, so you can get reaction of the people and start to communicate with them. And once they answer, or they just like what you said, or don't like, if they don't like it, it's also good reaction, because in this case it's less important like or don't like, but it's more important that you start communicate with with the representatives of these segments of your potential customers. And once you have this linkage, once you have the open communication tube, so in the next steps you will be able, through this communication tube, to bring the design of your potential solution. And so in this case you already be there. And it's very important, for example, if you can start communicate with them in the early stage, so the first version of your product can be done together with these personas, with the representatives of your potential customers. And this is very important in this case. Not just to know who's your customer, but also to involve these customers to be active part of the development of your idea. And asking the question about, for advice about the problems and needs, it's much more easier for you and for them than just to create the product and go trying to sell it. Especially if you're a startup and you have only the first version of your product, and maybe it's not work well. So in this case, it's worth to find your potential customers, start communicate with them through the problems and needs. So this is the main, aim of this part of the platform. Okay. Cool. So if we don't have more questions, actually, I wanted to share with you, some vision how to build the 1 minute. Okay, how to build the presentation. Okay, because Sergey already sent you some framework for presentation, okay, for investors, and also to provide you this one, and I will send it to Sergey, so he will share it with you, because I think we can start to go in parallel by developing the project in the platform. Okay, actually is going understanding who is the potential customers, what the problems and needs, and what the design of your solution. But we can take the structure and start to create your presentation, because in the end you will need to present it to the to the competition, to the investors, to the potential customers. And once you will have this information well defined and well done in the presentation, it will be much more easier for you to go and present it and get feedback from your potential investors or partners. Okay, so actually I'm going to present you this structure of the pitch deck, okay, or presentation for investors, and I will send it, and you'll start to work. So the first slide is the project name. So and here it's as I said, if you'll go into the description of our our startup. So we have this green is soil moisture detection. So this can be our project name. Very important here, yes, to specify logo. Okay, it can be logo here, logo here. It's not really mentioned where we put, but it should be with some kind of visualization. Okay, so it's not enough of just project name. You also can add some sentence slogan describing your company mission, what you actually you want to do. Okay, so explain. So while your audience is studying this slide, you explain what your company is doing. Okay, so shortly, just we create this technology, we create this solution, we are developing a mobile application, we're developing this moisture system for take care for the plants, so that people will directly will understand about what your project and what you're going to present them. Don't try to put something abstract, abstract name, abstract logo, and saying just abstracting this description, because it's very important in your presentation, in first 30 seconds, just catch the intentions of your public, of your audience. Okay, so it's very important to be clear and to try to understand what is your name, what actually we are doing, and after that, trying to describe in more details what your solution. So the second one, it's you should to describe about the market, okay? And provide some market research and provide also, some graphs and provide some numbers. And it's important to show that the market in which you are going to work actually is not stagnation market, it's a growth market. And in Maria, for example, in Maria's project, we say, okay, so the market is urban plant enthusiast, environment related enthusiast. And if we are talking about the B2C and showing that more and more people actually want to, to grow the plants in their homes or in their backyards and so on, from one side, and from other side, they don't just want to spend the water, because the water is a very important resource, and because people more and more impact oriented or climate oriented, and also this is economics, and they don't just want to pay, to pay some cost, to take the cost for unusable water resources. So this market is growth. And for each startup, if we are explaining our market, so it's very important to show that you have enough big market, which can be provide you good possibilities for the growing, okay, and for scaling. And it's not shrinking market, saying, okay, less and less people, use and growth plants in their home, and within some years it's totally will be closed. Or, for example, other examples saying, okay, so we have some market of bottom, phones, not smartphones, for regular phones, and we develop some kind of application or some kind of games. We will use these button phones, and we want to produce it. So once you describe the market, so investors and your potential partners will recognize that this market is going to be shrink, and they will not invest, and they will support your project. So the market where you want to play should be grow, and very important that it's growing, but they have some problem, they have some needs, and your help can, your solution or your product can help to increase the growing. And actually the second, the third slide, showing who's your target audience in this market. Okay, this is segments, and actually what we described here in our platform. Okay, so the customer segments. So in the presentation you can specify who's the audience, okay, who's your customer segments, and you can describe the problems and needs and their wishes, which they faced with. And as I said, it's a great if it's a big, large market, and this market, in growth, and also in this growth you have, some shortcuts or some, the problems and needs. Once you will solve it, it will help to the market to grow faster and bigger. So maybe today it will go back to Marina's idea, saying, okay, the people like it, and it's very, it start to be very useful, and it's popular, very popular, that people will will start to grow in their flats, in their houses, more and more plants. But a lot of people want to do that, but the problems and constraints in this case that and concerns from their side, that they need to provide good care, and if you will not be able to provide the good care, so the plants will die, and maybe this will stop, for the market to grow, because they have this problem. So if we will bring our solution which override it, and it will allow to the people which today maybe yes, maybe no, but tomorrow they will decide to be part of this growing business, of this growing market, and our solution will help to solve it. So in this case, it will be like a good suit solution to the problems which will help for the growing market. If we can help for the growing markets, to continue to grow, so it will be very good accepted by the market, by the business, by investor, by potential partners. For example, in ChatGPT, I presented during our last meeting, but actually saying, okay, if we, for example, did presentation for ChatGPT, and we were at the company OpenAI with this great product. So actually, we told, okay, we have this machine learning and the artificial intelligence market is grow, but today you don't have enough convenience, enough good interface for to use this AI for the large audience of end customers. Okay, only people which know how to program the neural networks can create some solution, and they will use it for their own products, and they will be able to sell to the market. But OpenAI recognize on the growing market for artificial intelligence, they need this possibility to bring more people like end customers, which will not need to create their own neural networks, and they will use generate this AI, and they created the ChatGPT interface, which allow to everybody just to go and start to play with the artificial intelligence. Okay, so we described that market is growing. There is a good possibilities that with our solution it will grow faster and more people will be involved, in the process. And we bring this idea and brought this solution. So with our solution, the market will grow faster and bigger. Okay, so this is problems, needs, and wishes and opportunities. So the second one, the fourth slide, actually solution to explain how you solve the problem, needs and wishes of target audience or potential customers. Okay, and present it very clear. Okay, we don't need to put here very technical explanation. Also, by the way, for heavy technical products, we can describe it in a simple way. Better to present some kind of diagrams showing how it will work. For Marina's solution, we can show, for example, in some kind of structured, house, for example, in several locations of the plants, and saying, okay, now we have automatic system which just can monitor the soil of each plant, and to monitor what percentages of the dry, not dry soil, and can bring additional water which measurable and and will provide it when the plans are needed. So we can describe, the whole block of, whole structure of solution, but after that we can specify maybe in more that we have some kind of measurable technology. We will have some monitoring system. We will have some application which will help us to to see the graphs and to see the historical data, and maybe this application and the system can help us to predict something, or maybe we will have in this system, plant-oriented, specific plant-oriented program. For example, if this plant for some kind of flowers, and that you will suggest them, to put the water, once in 2 days, and from other kind of the plants, you will suggest to put it twice in a day, in the morning and the evening. So you will be able to go deeper, for specific features and functionality in your system. But please describe in the beginning like whole solution, okay? And after that, trying to explain in more details some specific parts. Okay, so this solution. So the next one, this is business model. Actually explain how your business model works and how does a company earn money, who's a potential customer, who pay, how it's paid, and who and in what way distributes the product, how products actually reach their potential customer, who can be your possible business partner in this case, okay? And it's very important to try to make your business model clearly explained and presented, okay? As is written here as a rule, unique, absolutely new model scares investors, because they want to see example that somebody already did it, okay? And if it's totally new, so it's sometimes investors not really they're afraid that maybe this very new business model will not work. By the way, for ChatGPT, as we described before, that it's new technology. It's quite advanced and new technology. But if you're going to see their business model, it's classical business model. I pay $20, per subscription monthly. It's like to go and pay for Gmail, on paying for other SaaS service. So business model of ChatGPT and OpenAI, it's quite easy to understand for the end customers. For example, for the developer, they have other business models saying, okay, you can get API from us, and we can can communicate with our engine, and this engine, AI engine, can provide you this and these services. But it's the other segment. So the first segment, it's dummy users, which is just go and ask them questions, and the more advanced users, which go in and use it through the APIs and trying to manage all of this stuff. So for ChatGPT, they'll describe, okay, we have this kind of segment and this kind of segments. It's B2C and B2B. So B2C just use our system and pay a subscription fee and freemium. Somebody can do that in free of charge, but in this case, performance will be not so good. And if they will need more performance, so they will pay in a monthly basis. From one side. From other sides, B2B, we have these APIs and we connect to our engine, the businesses, and these businesses will work with us and will create their own solution, and they will be able to sell this solution, to somebody else, and so on. But business model, very, very understandable, and it's also very important for you guys when you describe the business model, it will be easy understandable how you actually is going to create your, create the money, how actually is going to earn your money and do your business. Okay, so now please describe how you're going to do that, how you're going to go to market strategy, okay? How you plan to find customers, how you're going to keep them, how you're going to increase their numbers, get, keep, grow. So what activities you will do. And Marina's project, you say, okay, we want in the beginning just to go maybe, to the social media and social networks and find people there. And by the way, if you're going in I call it pre-start marketing business development, if you're going in the early stage of your product to your potential customers and starting to communicate with them through the problem and not through the solution, so you already can get a specific number of the customer, which will, after that, you will transfer it to your potential, to the paying customers. But you can start to communicate with them without the final version of your product and actually take some part of them to be part of creation, okay? Also, it's very important that you understand this very good. You very good to understand the go-to-market strategy, and you will explain it and answer to the question. Because if you're just going, okay, I want to get my customers through the social network, it's one story. But if you'll go and say, okay, I want to get my customers from the social networks, but I'm going to create this kind of fan pages. I'm going to create this kind of blogs. I maybe want to connect with some well-known opinion providers, which will help me, to catch the right people in the right place. So in this case, you need to describe in more details that the other side investors or potential partners will really understand that you have a plan. You not just put buzzwords. Let's do social network. No, you have a plan and you know how to implement and how implement this plan. Okay. So this is marketing and sales. So the second, next one is competition. Okay, so competition, and present a full view of your competition, competitive surroundings. And as I said, it's from our last lesson, I just showed you how ChatGPT can be used, to do this competition. To find the competitors and to describe in this competition landscape. And maybe one important point here, it's that don't try to say that your competitors are very weak and you are strong. Try to show where you better than your competitors, but as I described, if you say my competitors, on the 10 layers like 0, and I better, so maybe you on one stage. But if you say, okay, my competitors like 5 or maybe 6 levels strong, but I better in this and this and this, so it's like take yourself to the 7 to the 8. And not just from 0 to 1. Okay, so trying to not to minimize the competitors' possibilities, because if somebody will want to invest you, they will go and check it. Okay, and check it, and so be what not. It's not will be good feeling when you said something, and after very simple test, they will show you the opposite. So don't try to minimize the possibility of your investors. Try to sell, try to say truth, but try to find, your specific advantage if you compare it to what you have, if you compare it to the competitors. Okay. 8, team. Okay. So it's very important to present who are you and what is your team members, and please demonstrate relevant experience. It's very important, not just saying, okay, he's a good guy, but it's very important to present his experience in this relative field. Okay, and he and she has knowledge, relevant knowledge and skills for this project. Okay. Don't be afraid to show that you are in need of additional professionals. It's okay, you're a startup, and actually you want to find more relevant people. Okay. And actually you open, for finding positioning, because sometimes you can do this presentation and people saying, oh, okay, great, I know somebody that can join your team, and from providing this information, you could get good feedback for, for surrounding market for the potential team members. Okay, financial prognosis and key indicators. So actually you can take it from showing from 3 to 5 years ahead prognosis, saying, okay, for example, this is our product, this is our market, we can get in this market some kind of growth, so we'll have X number of potential customers, and they will pay based on our business model this amount of of money for our service or product, and we can see the growth of the potential market, and maybe in some in some time we'll just grow through the borders of our country or our city, and you actually to provide your all of this flow from the financial point of view. Make your prognosis according to the bottom-up principle, not just going, okay, we have this the Chinese market, and the Chinese market has 1 billion people, and it's enough for us just to take 2% of 2 billion of this billion people, and we will have a lot of customers, and we will have a lot of potential business. The investor not really like it, because to catch 2% of Chinese market, you need put a lot of efforts in the marketing and advertising and so on. But if you can say, you can show that actually with this, I call it minimum sell product, with this minimum sell product, we already have these 100 customers, first customers, but we can recognize through our validation that they very like our product, and we can grow like.
Пошуки головного ідіота, головне не вийти на себе. Я от дивлюся на ці кітку, що я написав, я такий думаю, що ж це написав?
Guys, some comments?
Тяжко буває.
Бачимо. Чи треба, я ще там доробити?
Okay, so we'll continue. So once, as I said, once you describe this financial prognosis and in key indicators, you will be able to show the growth of your startup. Okay, and as I said, it's very important in this case just to go the bottom up principles, not just to show the big market and say, okay, we will get this 2% and it will be enough for us, and so. And investors, they very like actually to see the progress, because if you're going to show that you can get from 100 customers to 110 customers, and this is like growing for 1 week, for 1 month, and it can be continue. So and show that for 110 you can get 120, 30, 40, and you have this, you know, this formula, and you have this grow. So it will catch the investors and it will describe your possibilities in much better way than just saying, okay, we can get the 3% from the big market. Okay, and investors like it much more than just describing a big market with the big opportunities, but I not really know how to get there and how, you know, how to start to grow. Next one, actually last one, so the current status of achievements, okay, defining minimum sellable product and investment necessary for its creation. So maybe you already create the product, and actually this product you can show. Maybe you will say, okay, I'm going to create the first version of this product. I'm going to create the first version of this product, and this first version of this product will need this kind of you know, of investment of resources to create it. But we did the pre-start marketing business development. We talk with the people, we understand their needs. They're waiting for, you know, for our product. We create the design of our product together with our potential customers. So in this case, we're sure that it's exactly what they need, and they're waiting for first version of our product. So in this case, it will be much more reliable, you know, for your potential investors to believe you, and actually to provide the necessary funds, or to provide the necessary resources for creation. Sometimes in the you know, in the B2B segments, if you will recognize your potential customers, and actually you can, in this pre-start marketing business development negotiations, you already validated the problems and needs. Sometimes these guys, if they see your possibility to create the first version of the product, sometimes they can ask you to create it for them. Okay, maybe they can pay, you know, for it. And in this case, you can create some, you know, some solution for, you know, for specific customers. But once you created this solution, maybe you will be able to take it and scale and bring it to other customers. And this is something that works very well if you find the real problems and needs, and some number of customers will see in you some kind of manual service providers, which is going to create something especially for them. And once you create it for them, after that you will be able to take it to, you know, to the other customers. So they pay you that you will create custom-made solution for them. But once you create it for them, actually you can use all of these knowledge of creating this product and take to the segment, to the other customers in this segment. Okay, and it's especially work well in B2B segment, or B2E, business to enterprise, or business to business segments, where in the beginning you create solution, and it's most like a service provider, again, most manually. Okay, you are not create a very scale up solution with a lot of automation. Okay, you are not going to build a factory. You're going to do that half manually. But once you create manually the product for your, you know, for the representatives of your target customers, after that it will be much more easier for you to go to the market and to promote your solution to more customers and bring needed automation, the improvement of the process, and the packaging in more branded solution, which will be attractive and will be presented to much more number of potential customers. Okay, guys. So actually, this is a structure. Okay, this is a structure of a pitch deck. Okay, a presentation for investors, and actually, I know that not every slides can be filled by you right now. But once you have this structure and you start to fill it, in parallel, for example, with the platform Startup Mastery, it will help you to create this presentation, which will be much more easier for you after that to present it. And also, if you will feel, for example, that you have some question in the business model, or you have some questions go-to-market strategy, or you have some question with the competitors or competition, so it will be, it will be much easier for you to ask for advice, and we can do that together. I will provide maybe my vision, and you also will be able to brainstorm and do the work in the team and with the mentors. And in this case, to be much more ready for the final pitch, for the final competition, and in the end for the go-to-market. Okay. So questions, if you have. You can ask in Ukrainian, not just English. So please, some feedback.
Maybe next time.
Sorry?
Maybe next time.
Maybe next
Time.
next what?
Next time.
Next time. Okay, so no problem. Yeah. Okay, guys. So actually, I will send this, this example, this framework to Sergey, and actually he will transfer it for you. And please try to work on this pitch deck. And from my experience, once you start to work in parallel, in these two systems, and we will see the presentations, it will be much more easier for us after take this presentation and start to work with it, just adding and changing and discussion and all of this stuff. Now, from my point of view, it depends on which language do you want to create it. You can start to create in the Ukrainian. It will be easier for you to start, but after that, I think it should be presented in English anyway. Okay, so maybe we'll have two versions. And if it's easy for you to use the Ukrainian in the beginning, so let's start to do the Ukrainian, because most probably I'll understand what's actually you're talking about, what you're trying to put. But the final pitch, I think it will be better if it will be in English. And also, by the way, today there are a lot of programs for European unit, European Union, which actually help to the startups, to the young startups to get some grants, to get support for their startup development, and this is like necessary part which we'll need to present if you want to apply to these programs. So I think it can be a good tool, a good solution for your further development and growth. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so if you don't have the questions, I will transfer, as I said, this framework, for the pitch deck, and we'll see you next time. And I hope during our next time, we'll already have examples of the presentations, the project, and we will start to work more, closely on the projects of each of you. Okay. So have a great evening and a peaceful sky. Bye, guys.
Дякуємо вам. Цікава дуже лекція і змістовна.
Добре, Марія. Все.
Мгм.
Дякую вам. Доброго вечора, мирного неба. Я надію, що сьогодні буде тиха.
Ніч.
Так.
Да. Дякуємо вам. До
Бай-бай.
побачення.
Thank you. Goodbye.